Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and I finally watched The Mask. This was directed by Chuck Russell. It was based on the very disturbing Dark Horse comics, and it starred Jim Carrey and a debuting Cameron Diaz, among others. It tells the story of a man named Stanley Ipkiss, played by Carrey. He's pretty much everyone's punching bag, like everyone walks all over him. However, one night, after a particularly bad day, he discovers a mask in the water, and so he puts it on and basically becomes a cartoon character. Like that's about as best as you can describe it. The Mask had been a movie that I had always heard of, but I'd never really seen. It was one of those movies where I heard, in terms of great Jim Carrey movies especially, The Mask was either near or at the top of every list. And I had just never seen it. But now that I have, I can definitely say that, well, this movie, for me, is just it's just good. Jim Carrey is the standout. Like, early to mid-90s Jim Carrey could not be stopped. In my research, I found that everyone from Rick Moranis to Robin Williams to even Nicolas Cage were even considered for this role, which is insane to me, because Jim Carrey is perfect for a character like this, to go from completely mild-mannered to over-the-top just on the drop of a dime. There's no better person for that than Jim Carrey. Considering the graphic nature of the source material, this movie takes a more comedic direction. When the Mask is shooting a gun at someone, it's not with the intention to kill, and there is little to no blood in this. There is some blood in a particular scene where the villain is being intimidated by the main gangster, and, well, the main gangster is playing golf and uses the villain's mouth as a tee, and that was pretty brutal for this movie. But considering the source material, this movie's very toned down, but that's not a bad thing. When you need someone to play a bouncing off the walls cartoon character, Jim Carrey should be at the top of your list. He was even nominated for a Golden Globe for this role. The Golden Globes. Think about that for a second. It's also hard to imagine anyone else playing the Mask besides Carrey. I mean, Robin Williams is one of the funniest people who ever lived. I mean, he's about as close as you can come, but no one could top Carrey. Cameron Diaz is good in her debut. She actually was written to be initially a good girl, but then turned bad by the end. But the writers were like, let's just keep her purely good, and that was a very smart decision. Peter Riegert was good as Calloway, the foil for the Mask, and Peter Green was good as the villain here too. His face was driving me nuts of where I recognized him from, and in my research I found that dude is Zed from Pulp Fiction. These movies came out in the same year. Wow. I do have some problems with the movie as a whole. First of all being the CGI. With all due respect to the CGI of the early 90s, it wasn't really around all that much yet. They had to do what they had to do. But there is some effects where I was just like, that's just terrible as a whole. And the practical effects, while good in most parts, there's some pretty bad stuff in here too. For example, in the climax, and this isn't a spoiler, it's just something I saw, the Mask gets kicked and is flying through the air, and you can clearly see that the Mask is being hung by a wire as it is spinning through the air. It's one of those things where once I noticed it, I couldn't not notice it. I don't really like to point out like technical mistakes because making a movie is very hard. So out of respect to filmmakers, I don't want to come across as petty or anything. But yeah, this was pretty bad. Not to mention that while Carrey is the best part of this movie, he is almost borderline one of the worst parts of the movie too, because while he is good, he takes it of full Carrey a bit too many times. Like, there was a scene where literally he's being shot at by the gangsters and he is changing costumes, he's doing the whole nine, and it's very blatantly obvious that he's standing in front of a green screen when this is happening, and it was edited in later. And then he does this weird he does this weird Sally Field, you like me parody. And it was just so out of nowhere. And then when he was a cowboy, he pretended to be shot, and it was just too much, man. Again, Carrey in the early to mid-90s was outstanding. I mean, in 1993 alone, he was in Dumb and Dumber, and Ace Ventura in the same year. So I'm respecting the cred. However, yeah, he can go a bit too far here. And at the end of the day, minus Carrey and the performances, those two are really the only things that have aged the best out of this whole thing. In the grand scheme of things, this movie hasn't aged super well, especially in terms of the CGI. That's quite bad. But this is one of Carrey's best roles by a country mile, and he really does carry the movie on his back. But what did you all think of The Mask? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. Hi everyone, future Ryan here. When I was filming this, I accidentally said what I was going to be doing the next Sunday, not this coming Sunday. So what I said was going to be 2 Sundays from now. So that was a mistake on my part. So next Sunday is going to be my first reaction to a movie that I've been really looking forward to seeing for a long time now. It's Alex Proyas's The Crow. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.